Meanwhile, much of the Pacific Northwest, like Yo-Yo said, is having some of the highest temperatures ever.
Oh, no.
Ever. 230 deaths have been reported in Oregon, Washington, and the western part of Canada because of this heat wave. Portland has set record high temperatures 3 days in a row now, topping off at 116 degrees. Seattle hit 108 degrees, also a record. A town in southwest Canada. Canada's like known for snow and ice and cold and beer. I don't know what else is. Bears.
I didn't know that they were known for beer.
They're known for beer and bears in Canada. All right, and it's 117.5 degrees. Those poor bears. Think about the polar bears up there.
Yeah. Oh, God.
All right, bears are dying up there. Can you imagine the poor animals? They don't get air conditioning, and they got all that fur. Think about it.
Can we blame this on global warming?
We can. We can. Experts are saying what has made this heat wave so dangerous was that the Pacific Northwest is unprepared for this.
Oh, no.
According to the United States Census Bureau survey of 25 major metropolitan areas, Seattle and Portland rank first and third among cities with the highest proportions of households with no air conditioning.
I'm over here texting my people in Oregon and my family in Cali. I didn't even know about this.
Yeah.
That's scary.
You know.
Yeah, me either. My brother's in Oregon.
Yeah.
My brother's in Oregon, so I'm going to have to check in on him.
Right.
Now, this is called a heat dome by scientists. It occurs, according to the National Ocean Service, it occurs when there is a strong change in ocean temperatures from west to east in the tropical Pacific Ocean during the preceding winter. So I guess the change in temperatures in the ocean warms up the air. The warm air coming from the west part of the Pacific Ocean that gets trapped in the jet stream as it approaches land. When that hot air arrives over land, the atmosphere traps the hot air as if it was a lid put on it. Winds can move the heat dome around, which is why it can also be referred to as a heat wave. Nobody knows how long this is going to last. Places like, you know, people who are maybe watching us in Las Vegas, Arizona, they're like, oh, 108, that's nothing.
Yeah,
you know, Phoenix, Arizona, 120, 125. Yeah. You know, airplanes can't even take off sometimes in the heat in the summer in Arizona and Vegas. But they got air conditioning there.
Yeah,
so
they're prepared for it.
So, you know, humans made this mess, and then they made machines to cover up the mess, because it's air conditioning.
Which still messes it up.
Which messes it up more. But people in Portland and many people around the world don't have air conditioning. I mean, it's a luxury. We're sitting here saying, oh, you know, the poor people in Portland and Seattle don't have air conditioning. It's a luxury.
Yeah.
You know, we're in the United States of America, but in most parts of the world, there is no air conditioning.
So like I said, this is why I love schmoozing with Brad, because like I said, I get very nervous with my family, you know, especially being far away. And I texted them, even though I probably shouldn't have. I had to like send them an email right now. And I just got an email from my uncle saying, yes, thank you so much. It went from 75 to 120 like that. Yeah. So like they're all just like, yeah, it's really bad out. And that's in Oregon. So.
Yeah. Now, according to my card here, it says heat domes have occurred more frequently as global temperatures have increased over the years. However, this specific type of heat dome, where you have the warm water, air coming in from the warm water, is very, very rare. It's very rare.
I never even knew about that.
Yeah. It's a 1 in 10,000 chance of this actually happening.
Dang.
Yeah. 1 in 10,000 chance. Now, climate change has caused temperatures to rise around the whole entire planet. We're lucky here in the United States we have air conditioning. Most countries, think about it.
Right.
They don't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
And the increased frequency of the heat domes is a product of global temperature rising. Daniel Swain, a climate scientist at UCLA, said in a recent blog, global warming is greatly increasing the odds of experiencing unprecedented heat extremes.
Hydrate y'all selves, please.
Meanwhile, climate change may be a culprit, they're saying, regarding the 12-story Champlain Towers collapse in Surfside, Florida last Thursday. And now scientists are raising the possibility that the climate crisis could be playing a role in the collapse of the building. Now, the exact cause of the disaster has yet to be fully determined. Although a 2018 engineering report on the structure warned of significant cracks and breaks in the concrete, at the time of the building's sudden collapse, repairs on its roof were taking place. So far, 147 people still unaccounted for. I would presume, I would be very surprised if we find any of them alive. I hope we do, but I'd be surprised. 16 are confirmed dead. Now, experts are saying that the role of rising seas in the collapse is very unclear still, but the integrity of buildings are going to be threatened by the advance of salty water, salty air that pushes up from below and weakens the foundations. Zhang Renpeng, a professor and director of the University of Florida's International Center for Adaptation Planning and Design, said that the building code upgrades after Category 5 Hurricane Andrew hit Miami in '92 have made new structures more resilient, but the older buildings are still very much at risk. Every sandy barrier island, every low-lying coast from Miami to Mumbai could potentially have these problems moving forward. Now, you may remember a few months ago, we had a gentleman on our show by the name of Joylan Collier. He was trying to save the coral reefs. Part of the reason he was doing that was he was saying that it's the coral reefs, it's global warming, it's going to destroy all of every major city that's on a coastline. And it was kind of almost like you had a premonition. He was discussing Miami specifically. Wow. Let's watch. Just a few months ago.
All interacts with the oceans, with how people live and where they live.
Those oceans rise, we have every coastal community around the world being affected, and Miami, you know, is being affected. You know, their city is flooding, and they're putting in millions and millions of dollars to have pumps put in. That's not going to stop. You're just putting a Band-Aid on a very large cut. It's like this complete madness of thinking as opposed to addressing the issue, which is we're overproducing animals, we're cutting down every freaking forest in the planet, and we're pumping CO2 and carbon into the atmosphere. Those are the issues. Don't try and fix the down chain. Fix the top part, the top drivers that are doing it. Then you don't have to worry about the down chain because they're going to take care of themselves.
Now, most of South Florida is just a few feet above sea level at a time when the region is experiencing rapid increase in sea level, rapid increase in populations in southern Florida, all due to human migration to Florida, all due to human-caused climate crisis. And compounding this problem, the region sits on limestone, porous rock that allows rising seawater to bubble up from below. I don't know why this building collapsed, but it seems like it collapsed from the bottom. It seems like water was involved somehow. Rust was involved somehow. And what blows my mind about this, and I said this yesterday, there were engineers' reports, from what I read, that they knew they had serious problems. They had to spend $7-8 million renovating the integrity of the building. There was a lot of fights on the condo board about how to pay for it, who's going to pay for it. So it took a while for them to do. But in the end, nobody was warned. Hey, you know, they were warned, you got a big problem here. But nobody was warned to say, hey, this building's about to collapse. Right. That was not in any engineering report. The engineering reports were like, you know, you're going to have a lot of major issues moving forward. I'm paraphrasing. But nobody said in the engineering report, don't live there, this building's about to collapse and everyone's going to die in this building. That didn't make it in the engineering report. A letter sent in April from the president of Champlain Towers South Condominium Association said the damage to the building's basement garage had gotten significantly worse. But nobody said it's going to collapse. The letter suggested millions of dollars in needed repairs had been a subject of frustration among residents. 30 months later, after the original inspection in 2018, there was observable damage in the garage that got worse. This is what people are saying. When you can visually see the concrete cracking, that means that the rebar holding it together is rusting. But again, that nobody said, these are engineering consultants, nobody said the building's about to come down. Nobody said it. Now, Jay Miller, a retired college professor from Philadelphia who moved to Champlain Towers 3 years ago said residents knew about the 2018 report, voted to make the fixes, but he said the $7 million price tag was very large. There was a lot of infighting, and it took him about 3 years to figure out how to pay for it. It's just, I don't think that people understood the gravity of the situation there.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
And
yeah, you know, and the engineers are like, well, we told them to do it. Yeah, you told them to do it, but you didn't tell them the building's coming down, man. There's a big difference.
I have someone in the squad has a theory. We have a
theory. What's the theory, Vanessa?
We have a theory. So Rosemary Barnes on YouTube is saying the pool was leaking under it for years. That's her opinion.
It's possible.
Something to do with,
it's possible.
Right. I'm just throwing our theories out there. We have theories. The squad has theories. So
it is possible. There was a news article I saw that a surviving husband who was not in the tower was talking to his wife, who was still missing, and she was on the patio on the 4th or 5th floor on the phone with her husband, saying that right before the building collapsed and the phone went dead, saying that it appears there was a sinkhole by the pool. So certainly based on that observation, I mean, we're going to get to the bottom of it. Based on that observation, the pool deck collapsed. Why? We don't know. Based on that observation. Scary.
So we have members of the squad are onto something.
Yeah. Meanwhile, last night, the House of Representatives voted 285 to 120 to remove the statues honoring people who defended the Confederacy from public displays on Capitol Hill, including removing the bust of former Chief Justice Roger Taney, who authored the 1857 Dred Scott decision. Do you know what the Dred Scott decision was, Jonathan or Vanessa?
No.
Dred Scott was a freed slave who made it from the South to the North and was kidnapped or taken back to the South by his owner, slave owner, and he sued for his freedom in the courts, made it all the way up to the Supreme Court. He said, Dred Scott said, once I made it to freedom in the North, you can't say I'm free and then say now I'm not free and kidnap me and bring me back to the South. And Roger Taney, one of the biggest racists ever, head of the Supreme Court, you know what he said? Constitution doesn't apply to black people. Sounds about right, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes people still say that today.
Yeah.
Right? But that was the Supreme Court decision.
Wow.
Okay? Black people, you don't get the Constitution. And people argue today, still may be the case. Maybe not as overtly written like that.
Right.
Right? But that's the Dred Scott decision. Black people don't get the Constitution. Only white people get the U.S. Constitution.
So what ended up happening?
So he went back to slavery and died a slave. So finally, in the year 2021, what is that, 170 years later, the House of Representatives finally decides to say, you know what? Maybe Chief Justice Roger Taney's bust in our Capitol, maybe that's not really appropriate, somebody we should be celebrating and walking past as a member that we are proud of in our history of the United States of America. Maybe we shouldn't be proud of this man. And maybe he should not have a bust in the Congress honoring him.
Just maybe.
Just maybe. Well, it's just a maybe because 120 congressmen felt he should still stay there.
Yeah.
All right, because the vote was, it wasn't like it was 465 to 0, which it should be. It was 285 to 120. I didn't even know that he had a bust in Congress. I'm so appalled when I read this. I am like so appalled. It is Dred Scott is the most disgusting Supreme Court decision ever made in the history of the United States of America. The most racist, disgusting decision.
Without even trying to hide it.
Okay, and I had no idea. And now I'm mad at myself because I don't even know that in our Capitol, the guy who wrote the most racist decision in Supreme Court history has a bust there. And now finally in 2021, somebody wakes up and says, hey, why is this guy here? We should get rid of him. Is that disgusting? Beyond trifling. It's disgusting. I'm so angry when I think about this. Meanwhile, the United States has more than 33 million confirmed coronavirus cases and more than 604,000 deaths worldwide. Today, There's conflicting. This is the problem with coronavirus.
Tell it to us.
Let me tell you the problem. You can't get a straight answer from nobody.
Yeah.
All right? Everybody gives you a different answer. So you don't know what the heck to do.
This is true.
Dr. Rochelle Walensky, the director of the Centers for Disease Control, she said that people who are fully vaccinated against the coronavirus, they don't need to wear masks in any situation.
They're good.
You're good. You got a vaccine, you're good. Go maskless. Okay? Go topless if you want. Go commando if you want. You go Gucci, right?
Yeah, you Gucci. That means you good.
You're good. Right. Now, on the same exact day or within hours or a day, the World Health Organization, okay, this is the CDC for the world. They say, they reiterated their guidance that whether you're vaccinated or not, you should be wearing a mask to protect yourself. The heck, man?
This is what happens when this is a disease that we just don't know about.
No.
My thing is like, I just don't like the fact that like you have people that are saying this is what it is and you're gonna be good, and then you have the other side that's like, no, it's not. Like, but they're saying it like they're so sure. It's not like an opinion thing, you know. They're like they're so sure about it. So that's why I was like, if it was an opinion thing and like they were like, my opinion is you should be good, then it's like, okay, you're taking your own risk. But when you let us know that we don't have to wear masks inside, everybody just goes, phew. And now you got people saying it's not like that.
You got World Health Organization saying wear a mask. You got the CDC saying it's very good. Now, Dr. Walensky, she's the head of the CDC. She has an answer for this.
Oh, please.
Okay? Vanessa, you tell me if you buy this answer or not. You listening? This is her answer.
Oh, I'm listening.
The World Health Organization really has to make recommendations for an entire world. Many countries have far less access to vaccines than the United States. That's why the World Health Organization is saying wear a mask in all situations or many situations. And that's why the CDC in the United States of America is saying in most situations you don't need to wear a mask. Is that A, make logical sense to you? Or B, a weasel way out to say we have contradictory statements and we got to weasel our way out to make science look good? Which way is it? Because it could go either way. I have no idea. I don't even know where to stand on this.
I'm confused. I don't know.
I'm confused too. I'm confused, Yo-Yo. I don't know where to stand on it.
So do you feel, so the World Health Organization is basically saying that everybody
should wear a mask. Right, to protect yourself.
But in the United States we're saying
you don't need to because we're all vaccinated. But there's many places in the world that are vaccinated. So the World Health Organization is saying even if you're vaccinated, you should wear a mask. In the United States, they're saying if you're vaccinated, in most situations, you don't need to wear a mask.
I mean, after our former president lied to us about not having to worry about this disease, I don't know what to believe. It's like, I don't think any of us do. You know, we just have to go with, roll with the punches. Do what you feel is, more sensible to you. If you feel like wearing a mask, wear a mask. If you don't, then
but that's basically it. You have to take it. You got to take all the information and make the best decision for yourself.
For yourself. The best thing, in my opinion, the best thing is if you're not going to wear a mask, just make sure you still protect yourself and like stay clean. You wash your hands. You still protect yourself from all of that. But
I'll give you my opinion, and my opinion doesn't mean anything because I'm not a doctor. Okay, but my opinion is if you're vaccinated or if you've had COVID already, unless you are in close contact with someone who is sick as a dog with COVID, you're unlikely you're going to get it.
But
that's what I would think.
But you got this info.
That's my opinion.
Your opinion.
But I have no scientific. I have no scientific
So where'd you get
data.
that idea from? You got that idea.
I got this idea from reading everything I read.
That's what I'm saying.
I synthesized it, and this is my opinion.
But you see what I'm saying? It's
but
like
I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's a fact.
But we read all that from one source. Now another source is like, no, it's not true. It's like, what are you supposed to believe?
And then also just human psychology is you end up believing what you want to believe anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So if you go into this and say vaccines are a joke, you're going to read through it and you're going to come to the conclusion vaccines are a joke.
Yeah.
And if you believe vaccines are saving people, You're going to read through all the information, say you got to be crazy
That's
not
true.
to take a vaccine.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with masks. You go into this and think, I think masks are stupid. You're going to read everything, and you're going to come to the conclusion masks are stupid. And if you go into this and you say, you know what, masks, they work, man. I don't know why people aren't. I'm going to learn more to make sure. And you read through it, and you're going to say, yeah, masks work. People are crazy not to wear it. So everyone has their predisposition, and there's so much contradiction going on that you just, as you read it, you make true in your own mind your own predisposition.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening in the world.
Yeah. I think this is
Be
all
safe out there,
developing.
y'all.
I feel like everything is just developing. So I feel like it's going to change all the time. But in my opinion, it's like, yes, get vaccinated. And I mean, for extra protection, wear a mask. Like, it's been working for so many people for an entire year, but who's to say what it'll be in 6 months?
Exactly. It's the same exact thing I saw on CNN. I was just telling Jill this the other day. Within 24 hours, I read an article on CNN that said that we're going to need boosters every year. New York Times the next day says Moderna and Pfizer is going to last for years. What do you believe? CNN, New York Times. All within 24 hours. I said, I like the New York Times article better. So I say, I believe the New York Times. I don't want to get a booster again next year. All right, let's get the hump day out. I mean, the answer is nobody knows. You got to make your own decision.
Right.
The camel's got to make their own decisions. Yo-Yo's got to make his decisions. Vanessa, you make your decisions what's best for you and your family. Cara Delevingne, she recently gave fans a tour of her Los Angeles home and revealed a very unusual feature. It is called the vagina tunnel.
Oh.
Have you heard about this vagina tunnel, Vanessa?
I have not, but I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued about what the vagina tunnel is too. The sprawling LA pad features this vagina tunnel, which transports the tunneler from one room to another, opening the doors to Architectural Digest. The model and actor took cameras on a tour of her home. The secret passageway, which is hidden behind a glass pane, leads from the living room to a next-door bunk room with the exit designed to look like a washing machine door. The passageway itself just isn't nicknamed the vagina tunnel.
That's
the
nice.
entrance is a dusky pink vulva, complete with pink feather pubes and a clitoris ball. That's quite
I
a...
was just gonna say, do you see the little ball?
Let me see the picture again.
I like it.
Gentlemen, don't lose track of the little circle.
Right.
In the video, Cara demonstrates the tunnel, poking her head out of it to tell viewers, I feel inspired by this vagina tunnel. I'm going to show you where this lovely labia leads. In the next clip, she pops out of the washing machine exit saying, rebirthed and cleaned. Oh my God, she's off the reservation, this woman.
I'm here for it.
Wow, the house is meant to feel like an indoor-outdoor playground by way of Alice in Wonderland. Consumer RTOTE wrote, Cara Delevingne's house is amazing. Also, her vagina tunnel. I love it.
It's actually gorgeous.
Would you buy a house with a vagina tunnel, Yo-Yo?
Absolutely. If it's that house.
That house, would you get rid of the vagina tunnel?
No, that's a fun little, thing. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be just going through the tunnel every night. It would be it's a fun
Why wouldn't you go through the tunnel every night,
Yeah,
Yo-Yo?
I'm not crawling just to get to another room, but it's a fun piece, to when you're hosting people, it's like, oh, you guys look at this, and that kind of reminds me of I went to the Museum of Sex.
Yes, on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, and at the end of the museum, you have to go down the slide, and you come out of legs that are open.
Really?
So, yeah.
Maybe that's where she got the idea.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Now, one commentator wrote, Yo-Yo, which is right up exactly what you were saying.
Oh, okay.
All right, they wrote, finally, a rich person's house that is undoubtedly very expensive, ridiculously decorated, but I actually don't hate it.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
It's very personalized.
Right.
And I actually like her a lot too. She gets flack for some of the things she does. There was an interview that she did a couple years ago where she just didn't feel like doing it, but she, still did it. But she had a little attitude, and she gave it right back. She doesn't play, so I like her.
Right.
She's good at my book.
Okay. Vanessa, good in your book? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I'm saying thumbs up, and just do not miss the magic pink
Ball.
8 ball at the end of the tunnel.
Vanessa, would you like me to send my contractor over to make a vagina tunnel in your apartment?
We'll talk about this later. But talk about it off the air.
Ice Planet Barbarians. It's a science fiction romance series chronicling a band of human women stranded on an ice planet, along with the hunky blue aliens who love them and the many almost unprintable things they do to each other. Despite the first installment being written more than 5 years ago, Ice Planet Barbarians books have been flooding Amazon's bestseller list since May, topping the science fiction charts and causing a frenzy on social media. Bookstores have even made special orders to stock the 22 main titles. The series' newfound popularity is thanks to BookTok, the network of book lovers on TikTok who can catapult books like Ice Planet Barbarians from comfortable niche obscurity to overnight fame with a single viral video. Do you watch BookTok?
No.
Not at all. If there's one reader to blame for the current Ice Planet Barbarians moment, it's Emma Carter. The 22-year-old was furloughed at the beginning of the pandemic, moved in with her parents in Kansas City, Kansas, and dove headfirst into TikTok, posting bookish fandom content. On May 22nd, Carter filmed herself casually making an iced coffee and extolling the virtues of, at the time, relatively obscure series. Now, whether it was her praise of author Ruby Dixon's sweet and weirdly complex storytelling, the promise of males who are simps and treat their women right, or the more anatomical aspects, something about Ice Planet Barbarian strikes a chord. Over the next few weeks, Ice Planet Barbarian books started popping up on Amazon Science Fiction. The first few books in the series have also cracked Amazon's overall Kindle bestseller list. I guess it's a book about aliens having sex.
Blue aliens.
That's blue aliens having sex
with human women?
No, with human women.
Human women, yeah.
Right. So it's blue aliens with horns on their heads having sex with
Barbarians.
Yeah, having sex with humans. Does that sound interesting to anybody? Sex with an alien.
I mean, listen, I think we can both agree, Yo-Yo. We do a lot of work on social media. There is a niche for everything.
There absolutely is.
Right. People are into alien sex.
I'm not surprised. I mean, look at them. They're hunks. Like, it's just like blue hunks with horns. Look at him.
He is a blue hunk with horns.
Any single woman, and not even single, but like any woman that likes, fantasy, sexual type of fictional books, probably enjoy that. Look at them. It's a human woman. They're tired of regular human men. They're trash.
Is the alien blue all over? Is everything blue?
You gotta read the book.
Like avatars.
Is everything blue?
You gotta read the book. I'm sure it'll go into
everything. I mean, you get blue everything.
I'm sure. I'm pretty sure.
You're pretty sure.
Pretty sure.
So this tunnel is blue and not pink. This tunnel is blue, not pink.
Yes.
Look at Jessica Leamy. Nope, I'll pass. Jessica Leamy says she'll pass.
All right. Jessica Leamy does not want to have alien sex, Yo-Yo.
No,
she only
don't
wants
blame
human
her.
sex.
Yes.
Meanwhile, half of coupled Americans, nobody here, nobody in our show, but the other half, the people who are not on our show, half of America saying they're having the worst sex they've ever had in their life this year. Yikes. The survey asked 2,000 Americans about their sex lives. Career sex and relationships therapist Casey Tanner told Insider, less passionate sex can mean a relationship is just more emotionally stable. Sex in tumultuous relationships, in contrast, can feel more fulfilling because of the sexiness that comes with hot and cold dynamics. I don't know about that. Why do you have to be in a tumultuous relationship to have good sex?
Because that's like the makeup sex. When
but you can have good sex and not be in a tumultuous relationship.
No, they're saying that it's probably better sex because when you argue with your partner and then you guys have makeup sex, it's like, oh. Then you just you let all that aggression out. But if everything is just like peachy clean or peachy keen, and you're just like, okay, we're having sex, everything is cool.
But is makeup sex almost like angry sex?
That's why it's so hot,
right? Makeup sex is like angry sex.
It's the same thing as like BDSM and all that because you go into you explore.
You know.
Well, it sounds like Yo-Yo had makeup sex recently. He seems to be able to talk about it very detailed.
So fluidly.
Yeah. Have you had makeup sex recently, Yo-Yo?
I'll plead the fifth.
Now, Tanner explained if your sex is good but not great, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to worry. Relational satisfaction does not typically require that you're having mind-blowing sex. It matters that you're having good enough sex. So this means instead, so if you and your partner are comfortable in every other part of your relationship, sex is something that you can work on. This means instead of placing blame on each other, discuss what you want in your dynamic. I believe you got to talk it through. Tell them what you like and what you don't like. Anybody?
I mean, of course, that works as well. That works as well.
Yeah. You watch Love Island? I don't watch Love Island.
I don't.
Do you watch Love Island? None of us watch Love Island.
Is that one on Netflix?
It's a British reality dating competition show. Its star Shannon Singh has made some steamy confessions, even getting down and dirty in a toilet.
What?
Yeah, the 22-year-old model from Fife, Scotland, recently opened up about her sex life, boasting she had sex 8 times a day. Is that even possible?
That's too much.
That's a lot.
Possible.
That's a lot. But you don't know how long each sex session is. Is each sex session like a minute?
Right.
I mean, you're having sex 1 minute 8 times a day? Yeah, that's possible, right? You're having sex 1 hour 8 times a day? That's 8 hours? That seems a lot.
No. That's definitely not it.
She has no job?
She has an OnlyFans page of 150,000 people.
It is her job, Yo-Yo.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. She said in a recent posting, I had sex in the morning yesterday, then in the toilet, then in the afternoon. I quite like a bit of rough and tough. I kind of like it rough, and I love a bit more of morning. What the whole thing is it possible to have sex 8 times a day? That's what she's claiming. She has sex 8 times a day.
She says she does it.
I believe it. Why not? What do you got to lie about that for?
Right.
Right? Why lie about that? I mean, I don't lie about my sex life. I have sex at least 9-10 times a day.
What?
Yes. Every hour I'm working. I go home. I come back. I go home. I come back. Why lie about it?
Between clients.
Yeah, in between clients, of course. Everybody does.
Goodness.
I don't even see why this is even a story.
Right.
Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.